Dear students, welcome to Engineering Chemistry class. Today we are going to learn Lesson 5 Valence Bond Theory. Valence bond theory was first proposed by Pauling to explain the bonding in coordination compounds. This theory uses the concept of hybridization to explain the geometry of the complex. It is also called chemical bonding theory, which explains bonding between two atoms which are caused by the overlapping of half-filled atomic orbitals. According to this theory, metal-ligand bond arises due to the donation of electron pairs by the ligands to the central metal atom. So for accommodating these donated electrons by the ligands, the central metal atom must possess required number of empty orbitals or vacant orbitals of nearly equal energy. So these orbitals undergo hybridization and give same set of number of hybrid orbitals of equal energy. I'm showing the steps for the formation of coordination entity. The metal undergoes ionization when the ligand approaches to the metal, and it will undergo hybridization. So we know that the valence bond theory uses concept of hybridization. So the metal makes available number of empty orbitals and undergo hybridization to give same set of hybrid orbitals of equal energy. So based on the pattern of overlapping, there are two types of covalent bonds. One is sigma bond and another one is pi bond. The covalent bond is formed by sideways overlapping of atomic orbitals known as pi bond, whereas the bond formed by the overlapping of atomic orbital along the internucleus axis is known as sigma bond. Sometimes the central metal atom makes available a number of n-1d number of empty orbitals by pairing up with the unpaired n-1d orbitals, thereby making n-1d orbitals available for the formation of coordinate bond with suitable ligands, with suitable ligand orbitals. When the ligands approaching the metal, formation of metal ligand bond takes place by the donation of electron pairs by the ligands to the empty hybridized orbitals of metals. So the metal ligand bonds are directional in nature and of equal strength. We get hybridization using the hybridizations, that is sp3 dsp2 and d2 sp3 or sp3 d2 hybridizations results in the formation of complexes of tetrahedral geometry, square planar geometry, or and octahedral geometry respectively. This table shows based on the coordination number, that is based on the number of ligands attached to the metal, we will come to know which type of hybridization and the geometry. So if the coordination number is 2, the geometry is linear and the hybridization is sp. If the coordination number is 3, that is number of ligands is 3, the trigonal biplanar is the geometry with hybridization sp2. And if the coordination number is 4, we'll get sp3, d3s and d2 sp2 type of hybridizations. And two geometry are possible, that is tetrahedral and square planar. If the coordination number is 5, we'll get two geometries, trigonal bipyramidal and square pyramidal, and hybridizations are dsp3. And for the coordination number 6, we'll get two types of hybridization, d2 sp3 and sp3 d2, and geometry is octahedral and trigonal prism. I have given the example, you can go through. And coming to the limitations of VBT, actually chemists use VBT theory for explaining the formation of coordination bonding complexes because it is simple, and molecular theory also they will use because it is accurate. Unfortunately, this leads many chemists and even some textbooks to mix their uses of both theories. This is only allowable if we are carefully aware about what we are saying. First limitation is it fails to explain the color and characteristics of absorption spectra of complex compounds, and the orbital contribution, temperature dependency on magnetic moment of some complexes are not properly explained by this theory. and it is not helpful for the prediction of any distortion in shapes of the coordination complexes from regular geometry. If you see in the previous slide, the hybridization for the coordination number 5, the hybridization is DSP3. We cannot predict using this theory which geometry is suitable for the complex. So this theory cannot explain the prediction for distortion in shapes, and it is not helpful to predict the mystery of formation of outer or inner orbital coordination complexes. Now we are in reflections part. Students, find the geometry for the following complexes: nickel complex and chromium complex. Pause this video for 1 minute or more than 1 minute to write answers on paper. Then we will check the answers. So for the first question, nickel complex. In this complex, the oxidation of nickel is +2, so it loses 2 electrons. As cyanide is a strong field ligand, it pulls up 2 electrons, and it will and the 2d electrons will get pair up, and consequently one 3d orbital becomes available for hybridization with one 4s and two 4p orbitals, giving dsp2 hybridization. So the geometry is square planar as it contains no unpaired electrons, so it is diamagnetic. And coming to the next complex, this chromium complex, the central metal atom is chromium and it is in +3 oxidation state, so it loses 3 electrons. The coordination number for this complex is 6. So it will make 6 vacant orbitals for hybridization. The 2 inner vacant 3d and 1 4s and 3 4p orbitals undergo d2sp3 hybridization. So it will form an inner orbital complex. Hybridization is d2sp3, and it will exhibit octahedral complex. So those who wrote, who got correct answer, they will get taps. And thank you for listening. I hope you'll understand.